Hello, it's time to talk about the books that I read in the month of June. My TBR ended up changing a lot. We had a couple of DNFs. We had a couple of additions. You probably, if you follow my channel at all, probably already know Carl has taken over my life and I just leaned into it. So anyway, here's a quick look at my wrap up. Really good reading month as far as quality of story and authors. I did have on my TBR Foundation and The Wandering Inn, both of which I did not finish. Foundation, both Amber, Elise, and I were not enjoying, so we canceled the live stream. It just was not the book for us. And The Wandering Inn, man, I tried. I gave it quite a few chapters. Super well loved on BookTube, well loved within my Discord as well. I felt real bad, but it just, boy, I am not the reader for that particular series. I am going to talk about at least The Wandering Inn in a video that's upcoming where I talk about some of the books that I didn't finish or that I did finish and didn't love. Just kind of talking about some books that were a miss for me personally. And then we'll do 5 stars for those. And Wandering Inn is going to make the list because it was a big miss for me. So we'll talk about that one more in a later video. But this video, the wrap up, we're talking about the books that I did finish and that I did really enjoy. We'll start with Carl. Just go ahead and get that out of the way. Dungeon Crawler Carl is a series that I did not anticipate reading at all. Lit RPG, I've tried half a dozen of them, including Wandering Inn, and it's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. And so Carl got really popular. Everybody was talking about it, and I'm like, great, I'm happy for you. Enjoy that. I'll be over here. And then Bookborn became obsessed with the series and did a video pitching it and talking about how she too is not a lit RPG reader. She's tried several. It's just not a fit for her. She tried this one and it completely took over her life. And so I DM'd her and I was like, do I do it? And she's like, yes. So I did it. And oh my goodness, it's been terrible. I have an addiction. General premise, the earth is destroyed, and because of a coincidence that I still don't really think is a true coincidence, Carl was outside of his apartment at the time that everything collapsed and the dungeon doors opened, and so he did not die alongside of most of humanity, and he, alongside the rest of those that didn't die, go into the dungeon, which is an alien game show. Hunger Games meets Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Aliens have prepped this setting, the dungeon, for them to navigate and find a way to survive while they watch on and laugh. It's lighthearted, it's funny, it's immature, it's goofy, but it's also incredible characters, incredible character work, fantastic scenes, really interesting stuff going on, and real gravity to the actual impact of what's happening. You know, it's not just like this goofy world and treated lightheartedly, even though it's kind of dark. Like, no, it leans into that darkness that is established through this concept. And it leans into the emotional impact that it has on the characters and what they suffer through and what they have to, it's just like, oh, I love it so much. So anyway, I read book 1. That was on the TBR. Then I read it so quickly that I had time for book 2 before I had to go into the rest of my TBR. And then I quickly cleared the rest of my TBR. and then I did book 3, which, looking at it at my wrap up now, the rest of my TBR ended up just being 2 more books. So I read all 3 Carl books. Books 1 and 2 got dedicated reading vlogs. Book 3 will have a dedicated reading vlog as my next video, so it's coming soon. So book 1 was a 4.5 stars for me, book 2 was 5 stars, and book 3 was 4 stars. It was a slight step down. It was the first book where I was actually looking to see how much longer do I have left in this, rather than being shocked that I'm already at the end. I still really enjoyed it though. That vlog is coming out soon. The other 2 books that I read this month, this is gonna be such a short wrap up. I feel like they're always so long. The other 2 books that I read this month, first we have The Well of Lost Plots, which is book 3 in the Thursday Next series. This, much like Dungeon Crawler Carl, is the 3rd book of the series and my least favorite, but only by a margin. Books 1 and 2 were both 5-star books for me, and this is probably a 4.5. This is where we delve into The Well of Lost Plots. This is the unpublished books. We have so much linguistic and grammatical play. with simple things like finding out where the U went, why the U is left off, you know, in flavor or color, depending on the region of the book. Characters that are very bland and just kind of set pieces that Thursday tries to kind of nudge into having a personality or understanding sarcasm or exploring characteristics that they want to pursue, plot devices that are very standard for certain things, and Thursday tries to nudge them in another direction. A really sweet scene that happened with a table and like a tea set that's just, it never, how much do I want to say? There's things that are set in a book because it's practical and it makes sense, and then Thursday is there and she's like, this doesn't work though. I'm gonna move this table a little bit, and it alters everything, and I just love it so much. This is a book that was a lot more ambitious than the other two, which I think is the same thing with Carl. It felt like it was doing so much that I got a little bit, not so much lost in it, but a little bit fatigued by it. And I think I feel the same way about book 3 in the Thursday Next, where it was doing so much and spending, you know, the majority of the book within stories. Thursday is basically an exchange student. Like, she's just like, I'm just hanging out in this world for a while. I'm here. It's called the character exchange program that she's in. And you still have the overarching, you know, villains and problems that she has to solve and job that she has to attend to. So it's still just doing so much while also interacting with this entirely fictional world. Anyway, sorry, I feel like I'm going on too much about a book 3 in a series. I still loved it. Even though it is by a margin a little bit weaker than the others from my perspective, these books don't miss. Final book I'll talk about in the wrap up is Venus Underground by Jeff Vandermeer. I'm slowly working through his entire bibliography of fiction work. This is a very Vandermeer book. Everything about it feels so exclusively Vandermeer. So we have this ruined Earth and this biotech that has been introduced. We have people as well as these creatures, these hybrid creatures that have been created that serve a purpose within the world. And they all, like, the way Vandermeer describes them is that they almost, you as the reader are almost uncertain if they're actually real or not. And the way the characters sometimes interact with them even makes you question, is this actually happening, and to what extent? At one point I said that I love how Vandermeer leans into the weird and acknowledges it for what it is. There are certain books like Born where he has the weird and it's just part of the world and he engages with it as if it's the only logical thing. Whereas with this, he engages with the weirdness very upfront. Like, these two creatures just walked into the room and they're described as being cartoon-like. One of our characters, we follow 3 POVs, Nicholas, his twin sister Nicola, and Shadrach? Anyway, when these creatures walk into the room in the scene, Nicola says that she lets them in because she doesn't believe that they're real. And then it just moves on, and we just kind of like, okay, I guess we take that in and try to piece together what that means to her in that moment. But because Nicholas, one of the twins, because he got involved with this character Quinn, who's the biotech, it kind of, it upsets the lives of all 3 of them. And we start out with one POV for a large chunk of the book, and then we switch entirely to another, and then entirely to another. This is, as I said, very Vandermeer, but also probably the most, every Vandermeer book is unsettling to an extent. The way he delivers information and the way he only partially gives information, like, he'll say these very absurd or unsettling or odd things and then not follow that trail. He won't elaborate, he won't go deeper, and then he leaves the reader to just say, what are the implications here? What does that mean for this world and for these characters? Or there's like big buildup to this thing, and we know it's going to be disturbing, and then we get to the scene, and the way he engages with it while also stepping around it, it makes me uncomfortable. It almost adds impact to it rather than leaning fully into what is happening. The way he looks at it, but only from the side, makes it more uncomfortable somehow than if every detail were described. But at the same time, this is probably This and Absolution are probably his books that contain the most disturbing scenes. In detail, making it sit. You have to sit with it. Disturbing scenes. So he does both, and it's just this amalgamation of what? This one, I have it at 3.5 stars as my rating, and the reason is because there's so much that I enjoyed about it, but there were also choices that, you know, didn't work for me as well, and by the time I got to the end, I was ready to be at the end, which I don't always feel. I usually don't feel for Vandermeer. I usually want to turn back around and just read it again after I finish one of his books, and with this one I was like, yeah, I'm good. So much that I loved about it still, but definitely on the lower list of Vandermeer's, while still delivering so much of what makes Vandermeer worth reading. So those are the 5 books that I read this month, all pretty different while also, or each of the series, pretty different while all still being just very Murphy books. Well, I didn't expect Carl to be, but it is. If you've read any of these books or if you plan on picking up any of them up, I would love to chat with you more about them. So please chat with me more in the comments. I'll see you again soon. Bye.